We begin Globe Traktion this month with a love story.
He caught my eye, I guess, and he started talking. So
Richard has a doctorate degree while Andrea is a full professor.
My friend, I told him, let's go together to visit their home. Apparently, he saw some guns at the door. One of the guns was a military souvenir. So my friend turned to me and said, man, we are finished.
Keitany and his wife Andrea left the land of dreams and possibilities to set up a girls' school in the remote parts of Keitany, Nandi County.
Personally, I liked school. I enjoyed school in my youth days when I was a young person. And I wanted to contribute this to help other children have that experience, which I had.
We therefore traveled to Nandi County to bring you this important story.
Finally. I'm so elated to meet both of you. And you know why I'm here today? Yeah, it's because I've seen the work that you're doing within this community and beyond. But before we begin on that, please introduce yourself.
Thank you. I appreciate you visiting with us here today at Simbole. My name is Richard Keitany. I am a native of this area, this community.
I'm Andrea Keitany, and I am not from this area. I grew up in the state of Iowa in the United States, and before I came here to Kenya about 2 years ago, I was a professor of English at several different universities in the U.S. for about 30 years total.
I've seen what you guys are doing here at Simbole. Is that correct? Is that the correct pronunciation?
Yes.
Yeah. What inspired you to begin Simbole Girls High School?
There are a number of reasons. Personally, I liked school. I enjoyed school in my youth days when I was a young person. I really enjoyed going to school and playing with my friends, and those were my happiest years in life. And I wanted to contribute this to help other children have that experience, which I had. Another reason is that when we met with my wife Andrea here and decided that we were going to go back to Kenya, to my country, we'd moved to Kenya together. We discussed what things could we do in Kenya, especially after me staying in America for quite some time. So it was not a time for me to come back and look for a job. That was past. I'd already done my work. I was a civil servant in the US for 20 years. So the thing that, because the most important thing was, what am I going to do for my community? What am I going to do for people after these years? Because, you know, if you get a chance like that in those days to go overseas and to get even further education, people back home had expectations that you were coming to come back and do something that would be helpful to the community. Mm-hmm. So we decided that the school would be the best thing for us to come and do in this school, to contribute to the furtherance of education in this community and the country as a whole to help.
What are your thoughts about Simbole Girls High School?
So, unlike my husband, I think I didn't love school.
You
when
are
I was in
quite
high school.
Yeah.
I preferred to learn on my own. I read a lot of books, and my parents owned a lot of books. I lived in a very isolated rural area, much like you can, but we read a lot of books. So I knew that learning could be fun, and I knew that learning was very rewarding, and it's the way out of a situation. If you are not educated, you don't see options. You think, well, everyone else is doing this, so this is what I have to do. And my parents, I think Dakari's parents as well, but my parents were very determined that we would see all the options and have a chance.
Yes.
And I grew up with 7 siblings on a farm. And so I wanted the students that I met here. I started working as a volunteer in the summer here. I would come and do literacy workshops with the small children in the primary schools. And I thought, these are very, very smart kids. But the world doesn't see them that way.
Yes.
As even, I might say within Kenya, they are rural kids. And so they'll stay here and they'll do rural things. And I thought, there's a lot more in the world that they could do. So that was my ambition, was that I want them to see a way of education that gives them lots and lots of options, and sees that you can, as Daktari says, Kenya has a lot of opportunities, but they're not going to be good opportunities if you just copy what everybody else is doing. You have to be a little creative. So that was my ambition, is that I raised my own 4 children to be creative thinkers. I tried. And I wanted to help other people's children too to be creative and have options.
Great, great. I was just having a tour of the institution. I like the way you've modernized every aspect of it, from the classrooms to the laboratory that is coming up, to the library where we're seated at right now, to the kitchen, and all over the place. Why did you set the standards so high? Because you understand this is a rural area, and most of the schools here are public institutions, because he went to a public school here, yeah. So give me an overview of that. Why?
Well, I have to say that I am more of the side of how do we finish what we start, but Daktari is more of the side of the arrangement where he comes up with these grand ideas. He came from a little rural primary school near here, and he had a lot of grand ideas. All of our lives, he's the one with the grand ideas. We met when we were undergrads, and I thought, I'll get a bachelor's degree and be a high school teacher. And he said, I think you should get a PhD and be a professor. That was his idea. He ran track in college, and then he said, maybe I'll try running professionally. I think I'll run marathons. So he's the kind of person that thinks big. So if he's going to do something, he's going to do it the way he dreamed it, not the way that people say makes sense necessarily. And what I learned from him is that you can't have something big unless you have a big idea to begin with. If you aim very low, then you're going to only get to a very low level in the long run.
So talking of a big idea, why did you choose your idea to be a girls' school?
Yeah, I think that, like I mentioned earlier to you, we have a well-known school across here in town, in Keitany, St. Patrick's High School, which was one of the giant schools in the 70s, 60s around the country. They used to compete with Alliance in my days. And I thought that our girls also deserve a similar institution that is going to be elevated, more open-minded, that can see things from distance. But to add to what you said is that I have a belief that that learning is not just in the books. Also, the environment in which we teach our children, we go to school, is going to be a part of what's going to affect the way we think. We need to see improvement not only through the books, but also through the ways we live and the things that we use. We need to have a good environment for learning, because I think that it raises morale, both of the students and the teachers. And
So that's
why.
how we thought girls should be.
Yeah, I think girls should be here, and that's why we built this grand looking building. That's the reason why.
Yes.
Potential.
Tell me why you chose to set up shop in this rural part of, of the country.
Because one of the reasons is that you know how countries develop, developing countries, they come about, they start from maybe the areas that are already urbanized. They have, everything is brought there. Everybody adds for the urban areas, and they see development as starting from there and then moving out from the center. Like Nairobi is everything now here. Everybody wants to go to Eldoret or go to Kisumu, go to Kakamega, and places like that. But I think also there should be a satellite of development around the country, so that eventually they fuse together, so the rural people are not left behind.
Great, I like that insight. Let's get a little bit personal. How did you guys meet? And how did he propose?
I don't remember that part. We met at university. So Richard got a track and cross country scholarship to attend Iowa State University. And I was there, and in the normal course of classes, we may never have met because I was an English major and he was an agriculture and plant pathology major. But my older sister was a graduate student who took a class, I don't remember the class, but they took a class together. He was a senior and she was a grad student, and they happened to be in the same class of some kind together. And so she invited me to a party that he and his roommates were having. And she said, now, you'll meet a lot of men at this party and they're nice guys. She said, but this Richard, he talks too much. So, so I don't think you'll be too interested in him.
Yes.
And he caught my eye, I guess, and he started talking. So I couldn't I couldn't interrupt him. So that was it. Yeah. I don't remember how he proposed, frankly. I think we just sort of said, oh, well, this sounds like a good idea.
Let me get his version of how things went down.
Yeah, that was basically what she said. That's how things went, and then we started talking.
So did you ask for her contact?
Yeah, on campus. It's a campus life.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and then we came to visit my place. I already knew her sister, older sister, as she said. So we went, even the sister had been inviting me sometimes to visit at their home. So we went there with another friend, a Kenyan. We went to visit her home when our friendship was growing with Andrea. The interesting thing is that my friend had told him, let's go together to visit their home,
yes.
Another Kenyan. And when we arrived there, we were in the family. It was the first time when they knew that we were friends. We had broken the news that we like each other, we like to get together and even probably get married. That's why I brought this other, my Kenyan friend. So when we went into the house, when we were welcomed into the house, my friend was sitting like this, very uncomfortable.
Yes.
Apparently he saw some guns at the door, sitting at the door.
Were they hunting guns? Oh, I see.
Where I grew up in the rural U.S.,
yes.
Almost every household had guns. They really weren't considered a weapon. They were just a tool. Yeah. And nobody really made any big effort to hide them or be embarrassed about them. They were just there.
And one of the guns was a military souvenir for my
father-in-law.
My father-in-law, he had brought it from World War II in Europe. So it was just sitting at the door there. So my friend turned and said,
we might be short.
He said, man, we are finished.
Yeah.
I said, why? He said,
we showed you.
Oh, did you see that? So we had a good visit despite the guns being present at the door, which is a culture. And from there I introduced myself and we introduced, so the family went through the things of saying, so do you want to marry this guy? You know, he's a foreigner, you know. After a while, everything just fizzled out and it worked out right. We got married.
Were your parents scared that you wanted to marry this black man?
They were scared that they were more concerned about he was a foreigner, he was young, we were young, and my dad is was hard of hearing, so he couldn't really understand Richard very well. And also, he was Catholic. And in the U.S., Catholics and Protestants don't intermarry a lot. So there were a lot of things that they were nervous about. I think his race was an issue, but it wasn't as big an issue as the cultural things that they were concerned. They were also concerned that I would come to live in Kenya and they would never see me again, which as it happened, because of the time gap, my parents had both passed away by the time we moved here, so it wasn't as big of a thing as you might expect.
What about your siblings? What was their reaction like?
I think that most of them liked you. Yeah, I think, you know, we're pretty, when you have that many siblings, you get pretty easygoing about your siblings' activities. You know, you don't really get in other people's business so much. So I think it went very well. My sister, like I said, my sister introduced us. So, and she's known in the family as the matchmaker because she's introduced several people who have eventually married.
Oh.
So, yeah, so they weren't really that surprised, I think. They were concerned that I was too young to get married. And, you know, for all the girls out there, I was 20 and I probably was.
So talking about your children, how many kids do you have?
We have, we are blessed with 4 children. In Kalenjin, we say 400. We don't count a person as one.
Oh, yeah.
We say 100. So we have 400 children.
Yes.
We have 200 girls and 200 boys.
Yeah. What are your 200 boys up to and what are your 200 girls up to? That is a nice balance, by the way. Did you guys calculate now that you're both?
It was a lucky.
The boys, both they're grown up. Well, all children are grown up, but the girls are still in college. The older of the girls returned to college just last year, this last year, and she's in college now, also studying. The youngest of the girls is completing undergraduate studies at a college in Minnesota. The boys, the older of the boys is at University of Michigan. Mm-hmm. She's a biochemical scientist, and she's teaching, and he's teaching and doing research on things like he was involved in COVID research and all this, like vaccine and all these kind of things. That's his area. Now, the younger boy is working for a financial company. He's a computer person. He was taken by computers and he's doing computer work for a financial company.
Are there moments when you walk around the village and you say, I look quite different? Mm-hmm. You know, there's no doubt about it. Mm-hmm. You know, you're speculating as if you still don't fit within the community.
Yes, it is. After you've gone for that long as a young person and come back, not only have I changed, the environment has changed. So you're dealing with 2 phases of changes. The community has changed, you have changed. You're coming back with ideas of old days and seeing people trying to see things the way they were, you realize that they are not the same. So this presents a challenge, rebuilding a social rapport in the community. And
starting to make friends afresh.
Making friends afresh, understanding, like sometimes somebody would bring me a chicken to sell to me, and I don't know the price of chicken.
Yeah.
I don't know how much the chicken is.
Yes.
So I have to ask somebody else or trust the person who's selling the chicken. So those are some of the challenges that we are learning with. Going shopping, sometimes you go to a store and you look at things and you don't know whether you are paying the right price. Like people tell you that you don't trust the people. People have become so this, so that, so that. But you have to learn. Even driving, we come from a driving culture that's very different.
Because you came from America, it's the opposite of Kenyans.
A driving culture, not only the side that you drive on, the culture of driving.
Yes.
You know, here we have automatic way of driving. You come to a stoplight and the light says stop, stop.
In the US.
Go. In the US, you go. Whether there's another vehicle or not coming,
you have to obey.
When you come to a stop sign, even the rural areas, you come to a stop sign, you stop. But here people say, I was driving once and somebody say, hey, why are you stopping? I said, yes, a sign that says stop sign. I say, but there's no vehicle coming. But you still have to stop. Say, no, not engage.
How has it been raising your kids in a totally complete part of the world? And how will it be if you thought about them coming to this side of the world?
Yeah, that was a decision that is easy but not easy to make. One of the first thing is that when you have children in America, of course, you are not going to bring them here to start school. You are taking those children from the right place to school to probably not the best place to school. So that decision is easy to make. You raise your children in America to go to school, to be grown-ups, and then you figure out how to deal with the idea of returning to Kenya later on. So those are the decisions that I made, but we made an effort. We did not have money. We did make an effort on a few occasions to bring the children to Kenya while they were still young. We came for the first time in 1998. 1998. And the children were very excited. They like Kenya. My kids like Kenya. They like to come to visit. Our children like to come to visit Kenya. We even came here while my father was still alive to give them their ancestral names. So they were given ancestral names. My father put out a big pool for us when we came. We had a lot of meat. he gave the kids a cow, each one to share a cow, so that was close traditional. So it was a very good experience, and I think that has enriched the lives of all my children, that they belong both in America and here in Kenya, and they take pride in their place in the family here in Kenya, as well as in the U.S. We think we are fortunate about that, and we appreciate it.
Professor, talk to me about language barrier as we finish this up, because he's been in your country, he's been learning with your language, but you're coming to his rural home,
Right.
and it's a totally different environment. Talk to me about that. And do you speak Swahili at Kalenjin? I'd like to know too.
Champini thing.
Oh,
So I understand more than I can express. I think that's pretty common for people learning a language. I studied Swahili a little bit, but I never, as I was studying it, I wasn't practicing. And so I was older. I was, an adult. So I am not gifted in languages. I can understand most conversations in Swahili, and if it's an emergency, I can usually express something if I need to. Andy, help me. Whatever. Shoni Wapi. I can say the things that I absolutely must say, but I'm not fluent at all. So it's a challenge. I'm using it right now as more of a challenge to the students. That I am not going to respond to you in Swahili. You have to learn to speak English to an English speaker. And that there are many varieties of English. So when you talk to me or you talk to one of our tourists, we have a lot here in E10 from around Europe, and they speak to you in English, it's going to sound really different. I mentioned before that our students really like Bollywood movies, and a lot of Bollywood movies are all about language conflict in India. So we talk about it, but we tell them English is important. For me, Richard's family were older people, so most of them were educated when they learned a lot of English in school. So we can usually manage with, some of us have more difficulty than others, but it's an adjustment. It's an adjustment, but because of the internet now, I think most Kenyans have a lot more exposure to the US and to English than when we came here in '98. There were no cell phones, no internet. It was a different world. And if you didn't speak Kalenjin and you were in Cambodge, you were in big trouble, right? If you went out alone, because nobody could understand you. But now most Kenyans understand English, so it's pretty easy for me to at least slowly communicate something. And we do have, here at the school, we have our secretary is very gifted at translating. So she understands my English very well, and she can translate with the parents. But yeah, it's a challenge. I guess the thing that is amusing about it is people usually assume because I don't speak Swahili that I don't understand it. So I catch a lot more of what people are saying than they think, and I kind of like it that way.
I hope you don't catch them gossiping you though.
Oh, I do, yeah.
You do?
Gossiping, or in the market. I remember somebody saying in the market when I was with my sister-in-law, they said, yeah, but I can charge her because we can charge the Mzungu rate for her. And my sister-in-law says, you realize she understands Swahili. And they looked at me and I said, I think you'll give me the price that you asked everyone else. Yeah, give me the regular price. And they did. So yeah, I kind of take advantage of that, and my in-laws know that, don't think that you're going to put one over on her too easily.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your time, Dr. and Professor.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're most welcome.
Did you have something else to add?
Not really. But I just want to say that on the other hand, the Kalenjin language is not spoken so much nowadays. There are people who mix words. They speak what you call word sharing.
Yes.
So people are not practicing the language too. Kalenjin language is not easy. It's not an easy language. It's kind of complicated.
It's a little complex.
Yeah, it's a little bit complex, as well as it's a tonal language. You can just change your tone of voice, and you are saying the same thing, but it will mean a different thing.
True.
Yeah, so that's another part of the story.
So Kongoi Daktari for your time.
Thank you
Kongoi
very much.
Professor.
hope you enjoyed the show. Many thanks for watching Globe Traktion. Join us again next Saturday at 8:30 p.m. Kenyan time only on KTN News as we bring you more impacting stories across the globe. Remember, if you have a story you'd like to share with us, write to us through globetraktion@standardmedia.co.ke or DM us on our social media platforms at Globe Traktion or at KTN News KE. You can also give me a follow on my social media handles at Pasil Telewa on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube for more of behind the scenes. But until then,